New toys. Hello, welcome. We made it. You're here. We're glad you're here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
we're glad to
we're
be here.
here.
Yes, we're here and we're glad you're here. And we
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else is here, but that's okay.
Not yet, but they're coming.
They're coming. Whoa, whoop, that was on my other screen. There we go.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
Heard my echo.
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear their little feet pitter patter. Oh, look, there they are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I didn't tell you before we went live about my week because I wanted to save it for the intro.
Okay. Sweet. Here we are.
It was.
I want to show my screen. Oh, whoops, not that one. I want to show.
You're showing my
Went
mess.
away.
Look at my
No,
mess.
it went away. Sorry, it went away. Oh well. I was going to show screen and it didn't work. So, oh well.
Why? What? Don't highlight me. There we go. Restoring meaning. Are you talking or are you just showing screen? Can't hear you, Jim.
I was talking. Restoring meaning. You're here. It must have muted.
Oh, it mutes. That's what it is. Yeah.
Well, it must have muted. Well, there we go. Man, I'm such a rookie over here.
My audio guy sucks.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. The producer is a joke. This is his first time. Jeez. What's funny is that, like, this isn't even my first podcast that I've ever run. I used to edit a poker podcast back in the old days.
Did you?
Called Poker Road. Yep.
My son-in-law, my daughter and my son-in-law, they're doing the thing. I'm so proud of them. And I want to talk about this a little, not just them, but something in general.
Yeah, sure.
So they're camping out in their car and in Nova Scotia, and at the campground had a poker tournament, and my son-in-law won first prize.
Hey, fun.
So my son said to him, "New career?"
No, don't. It's one of the only jobs you can have where you can go to work and lose money.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's I met very few stable people in that world.
Well, that doesn't say much for my son-in-law.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Just saying. Yeah, no. I mean,
no, he plays.
It was sad because you'd see these young guys who had like started playing poker online when they were 16, and then when they turned 21, you know, they'd show up and they're in great shape, look good, tanned, thin, you know, fit. They show up within a year, they would be, you know, they'd put on 40, 50 pounds, acne, pale skin, greasy hair. It's not good. It's a very addictive behavior, or very addictive lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, the reason I said I want to talk about the general thing is I'm just so encouraged by these young people who are opting out of the status quo, and they're not getting beaten down by the system because, you know, there's a lot of people that are really in despair about, you know, the housing market, inflation. I don't know what it's like in the States, but in Canada, it's just a nightmare. There was a guy.
Yeah, crazy.
There's a guy. He's got I should send you his thing. He's got a channel that I think he's a professional photographer and traveler kind of guy, but him and his wife decided to settle down, and they actually bought land just west of me, not far, like half an hour. And for some reason, his channel popped up, and he's in Risky Creek, which is I have like 3 addresses. I'm so elusive. I do. I have an address for my power bill, which is in Risky Creek. I have a street address, which is attached to Williams Lake, and then I have a post office box, which is where I actually get my mail. So, because nothing gets delivered to my house, you know, like they just don't drive out here. But anyway, he did a thing he decided to go province and territory by province and territory and look for land. And here's the scary thing. He couldn't find any.
Right.
It's not even that it was overpriced. He couldn't find any. So he looks in the Northwest Territories. It's like the place is empty.
Yeah.
And there's a city there called Yellowknife, and all he could find was 2 urban lots in Yellowknife. That was it.
That's
The
insane.
Yukon, I think he found like 3 or 4 properties that were
Wow.
like bare land or whatever, but they were
Yeah.
really expensive. They were like, I don't know, like under 10 acres, and they were in the $600,000 range, which is insane because who wants to live in the Yukon, right? There's nothing
Right.
there.
Yeah, because then you have to build, or because you're not living in it. You're not doing tent living in
Well,
Yukon.
people do, but
Well, yeah, I guess you get
um,
crazy, but
I mean, lots of people, the gold rush, they all lived in tents in the Yukon, in the
true.
Klondike. Yeah.
Yes, and then they're all dead now. That's what happens.
Yeah, they showed up young and thin and strong.
Yeah, that's right. See, and they start playing poker in their Canadian tent,
Yeah.
and a year later, that's the
They
end
all
of it.
died of whatever,
They
something.
froze to death while they're sitting there holding a straight flush.
Well, the cremation of Sam McGee.
I love that poem.
Yeah. Well, that's the story up there.
I'm working on rememorizing it. I had it memorized when I was in
Yeah.
high school. Yeah, my high school English teacher said, when you're at a party, you just need to go like to the stairway and go up like 3 or 4 stairs, and then just begin reciting this poem. He said, if the women don't swoon, you're at the wrong party.
Oh, that's a great.
I love that poem. It's really good.
It is good. It's very it affected me, that poem. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just the idea of this poor man, just frozen and his eyes open, and and all his dreams gone. And I mean, I've read many of the gold rush stories, because this area, like the highway that leads to Williams Lake, is called the Caribou Gold Rush Trail.
Mhm.
So this whole area is here because of the gold rush, right? So there's just insane stories of what people did to get to this gold, eh?
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying before, like,
Yeah. Sorry.
so Ethan Cahy and his fiance visited me, folks. I just want to put that out there, because
That's cool.
it was really wonderful. And I told them both when they left that people like them, young couples like them, give me hope for the world. Them
Mm.
and my kids, and like my daughter and her husband, and well, my other kids too, for that matter,
Yes.
that are just like, damn it, we're going to do this come hell or high water. We're going to make our way. We're going to thrive, and we're going to own something, and we're going to be happy.
Ah, nice. Yes.
Like, yeah, because so many people have just like totally given up on that,
Right.
on that dream.
Right. Yeah.
Like they're just like, I can't, I won't, it never will happen. And if you say that, it never will happen. Right.
Right. Yeah. No, it's much better to force yourself to be creative.
Yeah. And and people are this is the thing that I love about apocalyptic moments is, and I always refer to the verse, where sin abounds, grace abounds much more. Right.
Mm.
People get really creative in those moments. And I just think that's what they're for, actually.
Mhm.
That's what they're for. Constraint is the key to creativity, right?
Yes.
You
That's
have
right.
an obstacle, you have
That's
to
right.
get around. So, hey,
Yep.
Lance.
Lance is here. Good evening.
Yeah.
We've got a
So
few
anyway,
others here. Welcome.
just wanted to throw that out there, because
I love it.
I'm not despairing about this. I mean, you could despair. I could really despair, because my Canada, my country is trying to be snatched away from us by
Yeah.
globalists. And yeah, they want to use it as a green credit country. which you know what that means? That
Yeah.
means nobody can own anything.
Which is
Nobody
why
can own
none of
land.
your land is for sale anymore.
That's right. You know who bought it?
China.
Freaking corporations
Well, yeah.
and China. I just found out today 670,000 hectares belongs to China on Vancouver Island.
That's 42,000 football fields.
Yeah.
I'm just making that up.
Math. I was just like, holy crap.
I was making that up on
What do you want?
just for the joke. In case you're American, that's 42,000 football fields.
A lot of land, and it's highly
that's
productive and beautiful land, and it should be where people can make an existence and make their dreams come true and have babies.
yeah.
I'm so
Well,
sick.
we had that senator who had a bright idea of selling a bunch of the federal land, and it was like people. I was really happy. A lot of people reached out and just said, like, "What are you talking about?" Like, and a lot of people said, "Well, guarantee that it only gets sold to American families, no corporations, no foreign owners."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, we can't really do that in the amount of time we have to try to pass the bill, so I withdraw the amendment." So that's exactly what they wanted to do.
That's what they wanted. Yeah, they wanted to hand it off to their buddies, and so they could grow their own investments. It's disgusting.
That's awful. Yeah.
Well, before we read the Heliand, I just want to read a comment that I made on Michael Martin's. Michael Martin did I love it when Michael Martin gets fiery and he gets fired up. He did a Substack called Marriage, Fertility, and Civilization in Decline. And I wrote this. I always appreciate these fiery posts. I said it's strawberry picking time here on our farm, and the superabundance is clear. Like, I'm throwing out probably 3/4 of what I'm picking because it's been raining and I still have way too many strawberries, Just taking a quick break from cleaning them, which I started about 4 hours ago, and I still have another 4 to go, as well as 2 more half rows to pick. Scarcity and safety are the mantras of our time, especially since the quote-unquote pandemic. These mantras make my skin crawl. Just the other day, after finishing up a conversation with a Canada Post customer service representative who couldn't help me in the least. Okay. And then in brackets, I wrote, I'm discovering that no online services will ship to post office boxes anymore, and this just in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Ended his exchange with me with, stay safe. I wrote, why in God's name would I want to stay safe? What kind of a life is that?
Yeah.
I was reminded of the following. Finally, the servant who had received the one talent came and said, Master, I knew that you are a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what belongs to you. You wicked, lazy servant, replied his master. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you should have deposited my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have received it back with interest. Therefore, take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. But the one who does not have even what he has will be taken away from him. And throw that worthless servant out. And I didn't finish the quote for some reason. Where there's wailing and gnashing of teeth, right?
Yeah.
And then I starred, like I just reiterated at the bottom. And so I was afraid and hid.
Right.
That is the lockdowns in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's it.
So anyway, I had to just pick up the fiery spirit of my friend Michael Martin and carry the torch because, what's that movie where the guy shouts out the window, I'm sick and tired of this and I can't take it anymore.
Network.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, Jeremy. I'm just like, I'm done not saying anything. I'm done.
Yeah.
So there we have it.
Yeah. Good. Well, glad you said something. Welcome. You're here. And it's it's not our job to fix the culture or redeem the culture, or my priest reminds me frequently. He said the purpose of your life is to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Period. Like that's it, right? He said anything else is a distraction,
right? Which is why you can't.
Not something you have to worry about.
So like you can't kick at the goads, which is what Jesus says to Paul. Why are you kicking against the goads? Like, this is happening here, right?
Yeah.
But you also can't lie down and die.
Right. Yeah.
So, I just really want to encourage, especially young people that watch this, if they do, that, and I know they hate hearing it, and they've called it a boomerality thing, which just kills any kind of discussion around it. But you can put your mind to something and you can do it. So it just takes, it's not going to be easy, but all the best things in life are not easy. So
that's right.
There we have it.
Yep. It's good to try to be creative. My dad had a game where he would see how many days he could go without spending any money. I think his record was
plays that game all the time.
Yeah, and I think his record was like 17 or 18 days without spending $1, So
good for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's just it's that idea. It's that I got to be creative. I got to think, how am I going to do this? What can I do? How, and he didn't make any great effort to like try to prep for it or anything. It was just like one day he woke up and was like, okay, I'm going to see how many days I can go without spending any money, and he'd do it like every 3 or 4 months. He would do it. And then when he retired, he was doing it all the time.
He was prepping for retirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Okay. So I just use that as an example of being creative and thinking, don't just defeat yourself before you've even begun, right? With your own head, your own attitude. So,
yeah.
Okay. I will. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, now I'm really curious what we're going to read in the Heliand, because I haven't read ahead, and we've just had this conversation, and I'm just putting it out there. I always love it when these things commingle in some way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let's see what happens. It's
an
adventure, people. We're on an adventure.
I'm going to start with a prayer. O Lord Jesus Christ, open the eyes of my heart that I may hear your word and understand and do your will, for I am a sojourner upon the earth. Hide not your commandments from me, but open my eyes that I may perceive the wonders of your law. Speak unto me the hidden and secret things of your wisdom. On you do I set my hope, O my God, that you shall enlighten my mind and understanding with the light of your knowledge, not only to cherish those things which are written, but to do them. For you are the enlightenment of those who lie in darkness, and from you comes every good deed and every gift. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. And
you know what, Jeremy? Maybe next time you could throw that prayer up on the screen when you say it.
Sure. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. Let's see. Where's my okay. Okay. We're gonna do it. Okay, we can do it. Sorry. Oh man, Grizz is really ashamed of me right now.
Jeremy's doing the heavy lifting now. You can tell.
We're trying. We're trying
to drag stuff on his screen.
It's a lot of work over here. Okay. No. Oh, I just want view full screen, please. Thank you. There we go. We can do it. We're here. We did it.
Woohoo! Okay, you got song. You got. We
read through song 30. I thought.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm way back at. I've still been reading.
I know you went back to the Sermon on the Mount. No, we. Well, it's funny because we read through song 30, and then you were like, "Well, can we take a little break? I need to talk about some stuff," and then we just never went back. So here we are, song 31, the story of the wheat and the weeds. So he taught them in words. There was a great crowd of people standing around God's Son. They listened to him as he told them in images and pictures about the way things are in this world. He told them about a nobleman who sowed pure wheat in his field with his hands. He was hoping to get beautiful growth and a bountiful harvest. Then his enemy went out afterwards with a vicious mind and sowed raygrass, the worst of all weeds, all over it. Then they both grew, the wheat and the weed. At this point, his fieldmen came back to the house and told their lord, thanes speaking to their sovereign in straightforward words, "How is this? You sowed nothing but wheat, good lord, and wheat alone on your field. But now each earl can see nothing more than weeds growing there. How could that have happened?" Then the nobleman replied directly to the earls, the lord to his vassals. He said that he could well understand it. An enemy had sowed the field after him with vicious weeds, so that I would not enjoy the bounty of the harvest and not have a successful growth. So the Lord's friends spoke to him. His followers replied and said that they were willing to go into the field in full strength and remove the weeds from there, pulling them with their hands. Their Lord spoke again to them. "I do not want you to weed it," he said, "because you cannot avoid or prevent yourselves, though you do not intend it, from trampling down a great deal of the sprouting wheat under your feet as you walk. From this moment on, let both of them continue to grow until harvest comes and the grain is ripe in the field, ready in the soil. Then we will all go to it, pulling the weeds up with our hands. We will cleanly separate out the wheat, gather it together, and put it in my hall. We will keep it there so that no one can do anything to it. Then we will take the weeds, tie them up in bundles, and throw them onto bitter fire, and let the hot flames of the ever-hungry fire haul them away." Many earls stood there. The thanes were silent, wondering what the famous mighty Christ could mean, wondering what the most powerful Son wanted to signify with these images. They therefore asked the good chieftain to unlock this holy teaching for them, so that from now on the people would be able to grasp it. Their Lord spoke to them again, the famous mighty Christ. That is the Son of Man," he said. "I myself am the one who is there sowing, and these blessed human beings who hear me well and do my will are the pure wheat grains. This world is the field, mankind's wide farmland. Satan himself is the one who sows such wicked teaching afterwards. He has ruined so many of these people that they do evil. They behave according to his will. Even so, they are to continue to grow here, these humans who are damned, just as the good do, until the forces of Mutspell, the end of the world, come upon mankind." There's
All
a
right.
footnote.
Should I read that?
Yeah.
Mud spell or mutt spell is a concept from Germanic religious mythology. Mutt spell is the force of heat, which will come from the south at the end and will participate in the twilight of the gods, Ragnarok. When Woden and Thor have been destroyed by their enemies, the wolf and the snake, and have killed them in return, then at the very end of the battle, when all the gods and monsters are dead, the forces of heat will cast fire upon the earth, killing all the human race and destroying the earth. The flames will reach up to heaven, and as the end of the world comes and all thinking beings, human and divine, disappear, the natural elements will rule again. It should be mentioned for completeness' sake that there is also a tradition that the world tree preserves life, and from it the cycle begins again. I like
Even
that.
so, that they are to continue to grow here, those humans who are damned, just as the good do, until the forces of Mutspell, the end of the world, come upon mankind. At that time, every single field in this kingdom will be ripe, and the sons of men will follow their decreed fate.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, this footnote.
Regang iskapu, the ruling one's decisions or fate, and one's is capitalized. The parable does indeed lend itself to a certain predestinationist reading, and the Heliand author takes advantage of that appearance to bring in Germanic fate, as the quote-unquote weeds march off to follow their necessary fiery fate, and those who are quote-unquote wheat fulfill their heavenly destiny. In actuality, though, the Heliand author is careful not to describe the weeds, quote-unquote, as being poor souls, predestined from the beginning by their very nature for the furnace. He describes the weeds as meaning Satan's teaching. In this sense, it would have to be, quote-unquote, misgrown wheat that goes to the furnace, and this the author would be excessively hard put to contrive. His main effort seems to have been to intertwine the Christian Day of Judgment with Germanic religion's Muttspell, the fiery twilight of the world.
Then the earth will fall apart. That will be the hugest of all harvests. And the bright shining chieftain above will come with his angel forces, and all the people who ever saw this light will come together, and they will at that time receive their reward, a bad one or a good one. God's angels, the holy guards of heaven, will then go and separate out the clean men and gather them together and put them into the infinitely beautiful high light of heaven. And the others they will put down in the bottom of hell's realm, throwing the evildoers to the surging fire. Bound up, they will there suffer the pain which the bitter flames inflict. The others, the riches of the heavenly kingdom, where they will shine like bright suns. This is the reward men receive for their good deeds. Whoever has wisdom and a thoughtful heart, any earl who can hear with his ears, let him be concerned in the deepest feelings that are within him about how he will answer to God the powerful on that renowned day for all the words and works which he did in this world. That is the most terrifying of all things, the most frightening to the sons of men, that they will have to speak with their Lord, men with their good chieftain. At that moment, every single human being would gladly be free of wrongdoing, of all dirty business. Everyone of the human race should worry about this beforehand, before he gives up this light, if he wishes to have eternal honor, the high heavenly kingdom, and the gracious kindness of God. Song 32. The grim-hearted Jews of Galilee land attempt to throw Christ off a cliff. I have heard it told that the chieftain's son himself, the best of all sons, described in pictures what there was in the world kingdom among mankind that was similar to the heaven kingdom. He said that often little things can be lighter and rise up very high. The kingdom of heaven behaves in the same way. It is always greater than anyone in this world thinks of it. There is also work that is like the kingdom of heaven. When a man throws his net into the ocean, fishing in the sea, he catches both good and bad fish. He tows them up onto the beach, landing the catch, and only then sorts them, picking the good ones and putting them on the sand, and letting the others go back to the bottom, back to the wide waves. This is what God the ruler will do with the sons of mankind on the renowned day. He will bring all the earth people together. He will pick out the clean for the kingdom of heaven and let the damned go to the bottom of the fire of hell. And there is no warrior hero among men who knows any equivalent to the pain which earth people receive there in the inferno. There is also no equivalent reward that a man can find to the riches and happiness which the ruler distributes, which God himself grants to every human being who behaved himself here in such a way as to be able to make the journey to the heaven kingdom, to the long-lasting light. Thus, in his wisdom, he taught them. People were coming there from all over Galilee land to see God's Son. They did it because of wonderment over where such words would be coming from, where such words would be coming to him from, spoken so intelligently, so that he could always soothsay God's spell and say it with such power. He belongs to the clans here, they said, by family relationship. His mother is here with us, a woman from these people. All of us here know him. We are quite aware of his ancestry, and we know his clan. He grew up here among these people. Where could this wisdom of his have come from, and such greater power than other people here have. So the local men did not approve of him. They said foolish things to him. They looked down on him, the Holy One. They did not want to listen to his message, nor in return did he want to show them many images or pictures, brilliant signs, because of their unbelief. He knew their doubting minds, their bad will. He knew that there were no other people among the Jews as grimly hostile and hard-hearted as the ones from Galilee land. Holy Christ was born there, the Son of God, but despite that, they did not want to devoutly receive his message. Instead, the local people, the warriors, began to plot among themselves how they could inflict the greatest pain on the powerful Christ. They called their fighting men together, their warrior companions. They wanted to accuse him of sins and evil intentions. His word was of no use to them, nor his brilliant spells. And so they began to discuss among themselves how they could throw such a strong man off a cliff, over a mountain wall. They wanted to take the life of the Son of God. He came out happily together with the people. He had no fear in his mind. He knew that not the slightest harm or injury could be done to him in his godlikeness by human beings, by the Jewish people before his time had come. I did miss a footnote back there.
That's okay. It was just about Nazareth, so it's
okay. Got it.
This footnote here is no reason for Christ's lack of fear is given in the scriptures. The author has added, citing from the Cana incident, that nothing can happen before fate and time decree it. These Germanic elements are added into the scene as a reason for Christ's confidence.
Together with the people, he climbed up the rocky hill until he came to the place where they intended to throw him down over the wall, to fell him to earth, so that he would lose his life spirit and his aging would come to an end. But there, up on the mountain, the minds of those earls, the bitter thoughts of the Jews were dissipated, so that not one of them had such a grim, hostile spirit, nor such evil will, so that none of them could recognize the ruler's son. Not one of them knew him, nor could tell which one there was he. Thus he could stand among their warriors. Thus he could stand among their warriors and walk through the center of their crowd, moving through their people.
Jesus is here depicted as a Germanic wizard. He dissipates the minds of his enemies so they cannot recognize him. He walks among the hostile enemy warriors with an impunity that must have made every 9th century listener envious. This elaboration is a nice touch by the author. The scriptural account he was working with is extremely plain. Quote, they took him up to the brow of the hill their town was built on, intending to throw him off the cliff, but he passed straight through the crowd and walked away. Luke 4:29-30. The Heliand also sees to it that Jesus actively takes himself up the hillside. He is not brought there. During the Passion, the devil will don a Germanic invisibility cape to be present in Pilate's house, in an incident similar to the above. Christ, however, does his wizardry in the Heliand by his own power. And the next footnote I'll just read. Peace. Sure. Peace here, perhaps in the sense of victory after this short skirmish with hostile warriors.
He gave himself this peace, the protector against the crowd, and set off from there, going through the midst of the enemy's people. He went where he wanted to, the ruler's son, the strongest of kings, to a wilderness. He had the power to choose where in the land he would most like to be, where in this world he would like to stay. That reminds me of the scripture, yes. John 3:8.
Say it. Can you say it?
I don't have it memorized. Do you?
No, but I was reminded. Yeah, do that. I was reminded of what we read. I think it was last week or last time, where he said, "You can go." Was it at the end of the sermon? I don't remember where it was, but you can go wherever you want to go. Remember that kind of freedom we talked about?
Yep.
I don't know where that was.
Here's the scripture I was thinking of. John 3, while you look. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit.
Yes, there it is. I don't really remember, Jeremy, where it is here.
Oh, okay.
I have a
That's
feeling it's in the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm noticing for the first time? The Sermon on the Mount comes along and he gives them all instruction on how to behave. And then each story, each parable after that seems to be a living out of those instructions. I don't know.
Mm.
This is just what I'm seeing at the moment.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't notice that, but that is interesting.
Yeah. Because I just want to give an example.
Okay.
So in Song 31, the story of the wheat and the weeds, he says...
Oh, whoops. I'll go back to it. Sorry.
Yeah. Many earls stood there. The thanes were silent, wondering what the famous mighty Christ could mean, wondering what the most powerful son wanted to signify with these images. They therefore asked the good chieftain to unlock this holy teaching for them, so that from now on the people would be able to grasp it.
Yeah.
Their Lord spoke to them again, the famous mighty Christ, and he said, "That is the Son of Man," he said. "I myself am the one who is there sowing, and these blessed human beings who hear me well and do my will are the pure wheat grains." And in the Sermon on the Mount, he says, he's talking about receiving people, right? Which is the next story, actually. When they try to throw him off the cliff, right? His words are not received, which is in the Sermon on the Mount as well.
Oh, wow.
He says here, whoever does receive you with a devout mind because of their spirit of generosity, such a person has carried out my will. And that just stood out to me because he says, these blessed human beings who hear me well and do my will. So the will, I just keep seeing this like through line, or this like golden thread of the spirit of generosity being connected with the will of God. Because he says at the end of that, the ruler himself knows and rewards the good will of every man, whatever good a man does here. Even if someone, for the love of God, willingly just gives a drink of water from a cold spring to heal the thirst of a needy man. So there's this tie-in for me with the spirit of generosity and the doing of God's will.
Oh, yeah.
And just it's incremental, right? Like you could just be giving somebody a glass of water.
Right.
And you've done God's will.
Yes. Yeah.
And those are the ones who are the pure wheat grains, Jeremy,
right.
in the sower.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you were given the icon, and then the icon is like expanded, where you're seeing, it's like more details, like exposition of the icon. That's beautiful. Ready for more?
Yeah.
Song 33. John the soothsayer is beheaded. John, God's serving man, was at that time traveling on another road with his followers. He gave the people long-lasting counsel, telling them to do good and to abandon evil, treachery, and murder. Many good people were fond of him. He went to see the king of the Jews, the commander of the army, at his house. The king had been named Herod after his parents and was a man of violent anger. He was living with the woman who had been his brother's bride and female property until his brother departed for another place, exchanging worlds. Oh, I like that. Then the king took the woman to be his queen. She had had children born to her by his brother. John the Good began to criticize the wife. He said that it was repulsive to God the ruler to do this, to take one's brother's bride to bed and treat her as a wife. If you are willing to listen to me and believe my teaching, then you should no longer keep her as your own and avoid her in your feelings. Never have that kind of love for someone. Do not bring such serious sins upon yourself." After these words, the woman's mind began to worry. She was afraid that John would move the king with his speeches and wise words to abandon her. She then began secretly to plot many harmful things against John and told her fighting men, her earls, to capture the innocent man and to lock him up in prison in irons, chained hand and foot. They were afraid to take away his life spirit because of the people, all of whom were friendly to him, knowing that he was very much both good and God's. The people held him for a soothsayer, as well they might. Then in the course of the year, the time came, as calculated by wise men of the people, when the Jewish king had been born, had come to the light. It was the custom of the people that this birthday should be celebrated by every earl, together with the Jewish people. A huge crowd of men were assembled there in the guest hall. The army leaders were there in the house where their lord was on his royal throne. Many Jews came to the guest hall. They were in a merry mood with joy in their hearts. They saw their ring giver there in his happiness. Clear wine was being carried to the drinking hall in pitchers. The servants who were pouring were hurrying back and forth with golden goblets. There was loud playfulness in the hall. The warrior heroes were drinking. This made the country's herdsman, the king, in his joy and pleasure, think what more he could do for the people's enjoyment. This is an inversion of the wedding at Cana. That never dawned on me.
Yeah, like this is all it's constantly it's hyperlinking back and forth.
Yeah, it just never occurred to me that this is
no, I know
this is an inversion of that wedding.
Really see it in the Heliand. It's so great.
This made the country's herdsman, the king, in his joy and pleasure, think what more he could do for the people's enjoyment. He then ordered his brother's child, a high-spirited young girl, to come out to where he was sitting on his bench, tipsy from the wine, and he spoke to the woman. He greeted her in front of the men and asked her insistently if she would begin some entertainment for the guests, something beautiful there in the drinking hall. "Let these people see how you have learned to bring many people on the benches to a state of bliss. If you fulfill my request and do what I ask in front of these warriors, I will truthfully promise you here in the open in front of these people, and I will keep my word, that I will give you afterwards as a present here in front of my ring-receiving friends whatever you ask me for. Even if you ask me for half of this realm, my kingdom, I will still do it, and in such a way that not a single fighting man will be able to change it with his words. It will be done." That so inclined the maid's spirit and mind toward her lord that within the house she began an entertainment in the guest hall of the type customary among the people of that country, common among those peoples. The playing girl moved vigorously throughout the house. Many a mind and many emotions were filled with pleasure. When the maiden had earned the thanks of the king and of all the earls, the good men who were in the house, she wanted to have her reward right there in front of the crowd. She went to talk to her mother and asked her, full of curiosity, what she should request of the guardian of the hill fort. Her mother advised the girl in accordance with her own desires and told her that she should ask for nothing else in front of the men but that she be given John's head, there, inside the hall, separated from its body. It was painful to all the people, painful to all the men's feelings when they heard the maiden saying that. So it was also to the king. He could not make what he had said into a lie. He could not bend his words. Therefore, he told his men-at-arms to leave the guest hall and take the life of the man of God. It was not long before they brought the head of this great man to the hall, and there gave it to the young girl, the maiden, in front of the crowd. She took it to her mother. That was the end day of the wisest of all men who has ever come to this world, whom any queen has borne as a child, whom any woman has borne to an earl. allowing always ahead of him for that one person whom the virgin bore, the maiden who never knew man warrior in her lifetime. For thus the ruling God from the meadows of heaven had powerfully determined him to be the Holy Spirit, to be by the Holy Spirit. No one, not a single man, was ever equal to him, neither before nor after. Earls hurried around John, his many followers, blessed warrior companions, and they buried him, his precious body, in sand. They knew that he had to go on the blissful journey to the light of God, to the dear comings and goings with the chieftain in the home up above.
Jeremy, do you think we could, before we go on to the 5 loaves, or do you want to keep reading?
No, go. What were you gonna say? Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's so much going on. You know, I'm just lately I'm just starting to see things differently.
Okay.
Like the question I'm asking myself is, what's interesting about the story of John's beheading is that this is a young maiden who doesn't have any idea of what she wants. Like, you know, she dances out of sheer joy for dancing. And then when she's, you know, asked what she wants, she goes to her mother and asks, right? What should I ask for? That's interesting to me. Like, why wouldn't she want her own thing?
Especially when the king gave her an idea. You could ask for half the kingdom and I'll give it to you.
Right. Yeah. Like, so, but she goes to her mother, and then her mother advises her to do something that is completely selfish on her part.
Right.
She doesn't give to her daughter. She doesn't say, you should ask him for a university education. Why don't you get a, you know, that and living expenses and a new car? You know what I mean? Like, she's not trying to further her daughter. She's only furthering her agenda. And so there's this narrative happening in this story of, well, dare I say, men getting caught up in lust for a young woman.
Yes.
Okay. And promising them the moon, and then regretting their silly outburst, you know, because, and then a mother who takes advantage of her daughter. Like, it's just so much interesting stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Apart from the actual story of, you know, how John was beheaded. It's not a how-to manual. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. A lot of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. 1 second. Sorry, I was bringing up what happened? I was bringing up the scripture because it reminded me of oh wow, that doesn't work anymore. Okay. Where is it? Yes. Oh, there it is. It reminded me of the 2 mothers with Solomon.
Oh, yes. One selfish and one selfless.
Yep. So I was going to pull that up. Where is it? Hold on. First Kings 3. First Kings 3. Okay, here we go. Solomon's wisdom. Then 2 prostitutes came to the king and stood before him. The one woman said, "Oh, my lord, this woman and I live in the same house, and I gave birth to a child while she was in the house. Then on the 3rd day after I gave birth, this woman also gave birth, and we were alone. There was no one else with us in the house. Only we 2 were in the house. And this woman's son died in the night because she lay on him. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me while your servant slept. and laid him at her breast, and laid her dead son at my breast. When I rose in the morning to nurse my child, behold, he was dead. But when I looked at him closely in the morning, behold, he was not the child that I had borne. But the other woman said, no, the living child is mine, and the dead child is yours. The first said, no, the dead child is yours, and the living child is mine. Thus they spoke before the king. Then the king said, the one says, this is my son that is alive, and your son is dead. And the other says, no, but your son is dead, and my son is the living one. And the king said, bring me a sword, which is judgment, right? So a sword was brought before the king, and the king said, divide the living child in two, and give half to the one and half to the other. Then the woman whose son was alive said to the king, because her heart yearned for her son, O my lord, give her the living child, and by no means put him to death. But the other said, he shall be neither mine nor yours. Divide him. Then the king answered and said, give the living child to the first woman, and by no means put him to death. She is his mother. And all Israel heard of the judgment that the king had rendered, and they stood in awe of the king, because they perceived that the wisdom of God was in him to do justice. So Herod is like an inversion of Solomon. And you have the innocent girl who's then going to her mother, and her mother is
Using
doing
her.
the selfish thing, using her, yes, and then dividing the baby, who's John.
Yeah. Right? And then the story we read before that, the wheat and the weeds, is also about dividing, right? It's about separating. Separating the wheat from the weeds. Yeah, interesting.
No, it's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very
beautifully written, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Really hit home for me, this one. That was the end day of the wisest of all men who had ever come to this world, whom any queen has borne as a child, whom any woman has borne to an earl, allowing always ahead of him for that one person whom the virgin bore, the maiden who never knew man warrior in her lifetime. Allowing always for the one person whom the virgin bore. That really stood out to me.
Yeah.
The one capital P person, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Who came from a place of integrity, of purity. Yeah. That's generosity of spirit.
Yes.
Again, this idea of generosity of spirit, it's really, or spirit of generosity even, like it's really jumping out at me lately, because, we talk a lot in the corner about openness, but spirit of generosity is like, it's complete openness to the other, right? So that you can do what John did, and always put yourself, a step behind the one capital P person, right?
Yeah.
The image of God, which is what Christ is. And if not to diminish John and Christ, but we all have the image of God in us, right? So if we defer to the image within the other person, we are being John the Baptist.
Yeah. I'm reminded of Abraham and the hospitality that he showed to the angels, right? The three angels that came, and he immediately threw a feast for him, killed his best calf, and made bread.
And there's a Mary and Martha way to approach that, because I remember as a kid hearing, oh, you never know who, You always have to be kind to strangers because you might be entertaining angels unawares.
Right. In Hebrews,
And some people, I got the sense that they would, like Longinus, they would host the men who were going to murder them knowingly. And other people were more like Martha in the sense that they were looking for a reward.
Right.
It's interesting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which Abraham was not.
Right.
He was just being hospitable. He would have done it with
Right.
anyone, right? That was the whole point.
Yeah. Right. In contrast to Lot, which treated the angels a little differently when they showed up.
I always felt sorry for his daughter.
Oh, I know. Right.
Good God.
Yeah.
What kind of a father are you?
I know. Yeah.
Do you want
okay, we don't need to go down that. Yeah, we're getting lost. Sorry.
do you want to read on, or do you want to drop a link for?
Yeah, no. Let's. I'd like to read. I'd like to read at least one more.
Okay.
This is like one of my favorite. Yes. I love this.
Okay.
This miracle. So I'd like to read it.
Let's do it.
Let me pull it up.
This is the parable of abundance versus scarcity.
Song 34. With 5 loaves and 2 fishes, the chieftain of human beings feeds a great throng of earls. Then the warrior companions, John's followers, decided to go away from there, sadness in their feelings, holiness in their life spirits. Oh, that's a nice contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Sadness in their feelings and holiness in their life spirits. Their Lord's death was their great sorrow. They set off to find the ruler's son, the powerful Christ, in the wild country, to let him know of the good man's departure and how the Jews' king had cut off the head of the greatest of human beings by the edge of the sword. The chieftain's son did not want to say anything hurting. He knew that John's soul was being kept in holy protection against the haters and in peace against enemies. Then the fame of the best of teachers spread over the countryside in the wilderness. People gathered. Clansmen journeyed to him. There was great desire among them to know about his wise words. In the same way, he too, the chieftain's son, had a great desire to lead a gathering of warrior companions like that to God's light, to bring them to happiness. All day long, the ruler taught many people from far and wide until in the evening the sun sank to its resting place. Then his 12 warrior companions went to God's child and told their good Lord of the hardship in which the earls lived thereabout, saying that the people living in this barren land needed his help. They cannot begin to do anything here because these heroes are oppressed by hunger.
Okay, the footnote says the author seems anxious to provide reasons to excuse nobles asking for bread. The scriptural reason is merely that the crowd had come a great distance.
Now, good Lord, let them go to find places to stay. There are many well-populated hill forts nearby. There, the people will find food for sale in the villages.
The word there for village is uikion, homes, village, settlement, borrowed from the Latin vicus. Presumably what is meant is the cluster of farmers and tradesmen's homes located near the foot of a hill fort.
Then the ruling Christ, the people's chieftain, spoke in reply and said that it was not necessary that they leave my dear teachings because of lack of food. You give these people enough to eat so that you have them willing to stay here. Philip, a man of experience, had his answer ready. He said there were so many people there in the crowd that even if they had food here ready to give to them, the greatest amount of food that we could buy with the sum of 200 silver pieces, it would still be doubtful whether each one of them would get something. So little would that be for all these people. The protector of the country then spoke. The chieftain of human beings asked them with great interest what they had there by way of meat and food. Then Andrew spoke, answering in his words in front of the earls, and said to the all-ruler himself that in their warrior company they only had 5 loaves of barley bread for our travels and 2 fishes. What can that do for this crowd? The mighty Christ spoke to him, God's good son, and ordered that the crowd be divided up and separated. And that there's that theme again.
Yeah.
And that the multitude of earls should sit down on the ground, the enormous throng on the green grass. Then the best of those born spoke to his followers and told them to go and bring out the bread and the fishes. The people waited quietly. The enormous company of warriors sat. At the same time, the chieftain of mankind, the holy king of heaven, hallowed the food by his own power, broke it with his hands and gave it out to his followers, and told them to bring it to the people and divide it among them. They obeyed their chieftain's order, and to everyone gladly brought his gift, his holy help. It grew between their hands.
So the phrase there is it undar iro handun uos. Scripture says nothing specific about how or where the multiplication of the loaves and fishes took place. This charming addition by the author turns the scene into magic. Love it.
It grew between their hands. There was food for every single person. The great crowd came alive with pleasure. The people who had come together there from far and wide had happily eaten their fill. Then Christ the ruler told his followers to go and see to it carefully that none of the leftovers were lost. He ordered them to collect them once the crowd of mankind had eaten their fill. There was such food, bread, left over there that they collected 12 full baskets. That was a great sign, a great act of God's power, since the number of men, the number of people gathered there, not counting women and children, was 5,000. All those people understood in their feelings that they had a mighty Lord. They praised the Heaven King. They said that never would a wiser wizard ever come to this light who would have... Oh, I'm sorry, there's a footnote.
Yeah.
They praised the Heaven King. They said that never would a wiser wizard...
So the wiser wizard is uisaro uarsago. Wiser truthsayer, wiser soothsayer, wiser wizard. In view of the beautifully magic depiction of the miracle, it seems to me that prophet is inadequate as a translation for the Heliand's magic working uarsago. It is misleading to take the very word in its Greco-Latin form, which the poet is attempting to transfer from a Hebrew to a Germanic context, and to translate the Germanic word into English by its Hebrew equivalent, rather than seeking a Germanic one.
They praised the Heaven King. They said that never would a wiser wizard ever come to this light who would have more power with God here in the middle world or a more sincere mind. Everyone was saying that he was worthy of all faith. Oh, I'm sorry, that he was worthy of all wealth, that he should possess the kingdom of earth, the broad earth's world throne. After all, he has such wisdom, such great power with God. The men all thought it would be good to elevate him to the highest ruling position, to choose him to be king. That was something not at all worthy of Christ, since he had worked the kingdom of this world, earth and heaven up above, into being by his own power.
Okay, so the footnote there is, the passage uses the same verb as in the changing of the water into wine at Cana. Here the verb giuarte, worked, is used to describe the act of creation, as opposed to transformation. Oh, that's interesting. That's like an ex nihilo. By combining it with into being, the description of God as working the world into being makes the whole world into an act of God's magic. That's really interesting. I like that.
Yeah. And afterwards preserved the earth and its population, though some people did not believe this, angry enemies, so that everything is already under his rule, the power of kingdoms and of the empire.
Though kingdoms is plural and invites the plural empires, the Heliand deliberately uses the singular and speaks only of one kesurdum empire. This entire passage once again seems to represent a delicately pointed protest against human authorities, those of the Holy Roman Empire, attempting by their words and decisions to make the kingdom of Christ into something awarded by their human authority to him, an unjustifiable attempt to make their political actions his. As in his description of the incarnation as being entirely of the Spirit, the author's concept of the kingdom of God is also completely spiritual.
Well, that's very relevant. The power of kingdoms and of the empire, the assembly of all mankind. Because of this, the holy chieftain did not want to be raised to any lordship by the speech of human beings, nor to the name of king of the world. He also did not want to start any further verbal strife with those people, and so he moved on to where he wanted to go, up into the mountains. The Son of God fled the overheated, presumptuous talk and told his followers to sail across the sea, telling them where they were to go to meet him.
That was good.
Yeah. That's another really beautiful detail that was added by the author.
Yeah. I like this guy. He's got some insights.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah,
He really
for
does.
sure. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, it's great. You know, this whole idea of dividing and separating, going back to the Sermon on the Mount, that was one of the things that struck me about reading it in the Heliand for the first time. Was we often get kind of caught up or stuck on the idea that we can't judge people. I think I've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Till we get the log out of our own eye and all that kind of thing. But then everything that Christ says after that is judge, discern, which is dividing, like you pointed out, right? With the wisdom of Solomon. And that is what the sword of truth in Christ's mouth is in the book of Revelation, right?
Yes.
It's the ability to discern and divide.
Yeah. Same as Solomon's sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Discern, it was judgment, and he said, divide it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're actually not asked to shut up and put up. We're asked to,
right.
Discern. And this goes back to my little outburst at the beginning. And I'm like, I'm so mad. I'm not taking this anymore.
Yeah.
Like we have to be discerning about where we're being funneled off to.
Yes.
I feel like we're all being funneled off to gulags, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a corporation or actually in Siberia, it's the same thing.
Or in virtual reality. Or in social media. Right.
Yeah, that too. But
that can be a trap.
The whole idea of owning nothing and being happy, that's a
Right.
gulag.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about happy, but but I don't think people would be happy. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. I know just from seeing people get there when they're young and ambitious and they want to start a career, they don't care about having anything. Right. Because they're so focused on getting somewhere, right? They're in travel mode. They're traveling light. But as soon as they have a family, they need walls because they need protection for their children.
Right.
And all the priorities change. They all change. Everything changes. The job is just a means to an end. And the end is to have a place of your own so that you can protect your holy family. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll stop talking.
Yeah. Well, let's share a link.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Not that link.
Somebody can come in and knock me off my high horse.
Where are we going? Where's the? I don't even know how to do this.
I know how to do it.
Let me do it. You do it. Come out of retirement and help me.
They changed the tabs at the bottom. Used to have words, now they have symbols.
Okay.
And it's the person with the plus sign.
Oh, okay.
But there is a link now.
All right. Anybody wants to hop in?
Yeah.
No, I like that you pointed out some of these patterns and how it's tying back to the Sermon on the Mount and how the dividing. Also, I thought of them when they were sitting down, when everyone was sitting down on the grass, and it said it was green grass, and then it reminded me of when he's sowing and he's throwing it out on the good ground.
That's nice. Yeah.
And also I also really liked how he blessed the bread and the fish, but then he told the apostles to go out and distribute it. And that's where it was actually growing. It wasn't him drawing attention to himself.
No, it was a community.
You see charlatans doing, right? It was he just blessed it.
Yeah.
And then he gave it to them to distribute. It's divine liturgy, right? Where they're sharing a meal with their God.
Right.
But the priests are the ones who are distributing it to the people.
Yeah, and then I'm just harping on my thing that keeps going through my mind.
Yeah, that's good.
But the idea of this spirit of generosity, and when you have that spirit of generosity, you're doing God's will. Part of that spirit of generosity is expressed in actually heeding another's teaching or Christ's teaching. So when he says, if you go to a village and they don't want to hear you, shake the dust off your feet, take your peace with you, take your blessing with you.
Yeah.
Right. And go. Right. And
which is also a judgment while we're talking about that.
It's a separation.
Yes.
You're making that discernment. You have to discern if they're actually listening,
Right.
And also, like before that, he talks about wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And like the serpent, he says, keep your eye on them. Stay intelligently face to face with them. I'm never going to forget that line.
That's a great line. Yeah, that's a great phrase.
And but in the feeding of the 5,000, everybody is in full, like they're extending a spirit of generosity towards Christ in that they are there, even if they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
They're hungry, but they're listening. And that's that openness that, John Vervaeke would call it dialogos, right?
Yeah.
It's an expectation on each other's parts, this spirit of generosity to receive something, right? And so what do they receive? Food.
Yeah. Well, it's teaching, spiritual food first, right?
Spiritual food, yeah.
Daily bread.
Right, because if you expect it, you'll get it.
Right. Well, I also think it's interesting. It wasn't the people who were saying, hey, we're hungry. Could you give us a break, maybe?
No,
they were there. It was the disciples who got uncomfortable.
They noticed.
The disciples were like, hey, wow, these guys have been here for a while. Maybe we should let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Because
there were women and children there too, right?
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to see if I have a Bible out here that has I think it's the house. Yeah. Okay, I'll bring it next. I'll bring a different Bible next time. I have a Bible that has a lot of commentary from church fathers and the commentary on the feeding of the 5,000 and then later the feeding of the 4,000. St. John Chrysostom did this really beautiful exposition of that. but I'll save it for after we read the feeding of the 4,000 as well, because it ties in really beautifully, and it's really relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I won't attempt to paraphrase it because he's the golden. I mean, Christosom means golden tongue, and
right.
that is not my nickname. Mine
What's
is
yours, Jeremy?
loose tongue. Talk too
Oh,
much.
good. Yeah.
Say nothing.
Yeah.
My priest actually said that one time. He said, somebody asked him a question, and he said, well, if I was holier, I would be able to answer in fewer words, but this is going to take a minute.
Yeah, that's true, right? Like,
yeah,
these saints, they just say stuff that's like 8 words, chick, and they got the whole.
yeah, it's a poem. And it cuts right to the quick.
Yeah. There was a Greek guy, I don't know, I guess he was a priest. On Substack, they have these, sometimes people post little video clips.
Hold on. I can't hear you. It's probably me. 1 second. I don't even know what to do to fix it. I think I had to leave.
Yeah.
I had to leave studio. I will leave.
If you leave, you might shut off the stream.
Okay, I'm going to try it.
Okay, didn't end it. I'm here. La 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 la. Hurry up, Jeremy. Uh-oh. Do I have to do a song and dance? What is happening? Where did the guy go? Sorry for the dead air, guys. I really don't know what to say. Oh, gosh. Somebody give me a comment. Come on. Someone ask me a question. I can answer it or suggest something. And then I can go from there because I'm just drawing a big blank waiting for Jeremy here. My really crappy podcast producer. He'll see this. If he watches back, he'll hear me say that. I'm just kidding, Jeremy.
I didn't.
There
you said you were.
Did you hear me?
No. All I heard was, "I'm just kidding, Jeremy." I'm like,
I said, you were my really crappy podcast producer.
Oh, we lost all of our viewers too. What happened?
Oh, no, we still have. According to mine, we still have 4 people watching.
Oh, okay. According to mine, it's 0.
Yours
mine's
is catching up.
Yeah, mine's still catching up. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, sorry about that. Sorry for I don't know what happened. I guess I had to leave so that Shari could insult me. So that's fine. There we go. Glory to God. May be blessed. I need it.
No,
I need it. So
I was just trying to fill the dead air. I asked people to at least give me a question to answer because I really was drawing a blank on what to.
And nothing didn't help you at all.
Yeah.
Everybody's letting you down today.
I don't remember what I was saying before you lost your transmission.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't either. Shoot.
No, it's okay.
All right.
It's okay. It wasn't. My mother used to always say, well, must have been a lie.
Oh. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a lie. Whatever it was. I can guarantee you that.
No, it's.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. I remembered it.
Oh, good.
Can I tell it?
Yeah, of course.
I was watching on Substack, someone posted a video. We were talking about saints and their succinct way of just saying things.
Oh, right.
And this Greek priest was on a talk show, strangely enough. and he was speaking in Greek, and it was translated. And he was telling about how, as a young man, he went to Mount Athos and he spoke to St. Paisios. And he just really, like, St. Paisios was telling him things about himself and, God. And it was just like expansive and incredible. And he went back home, and all he wanted to do was go back and sit at the feet of St. Paisios. He didn't want to live in the world or do anything a normal human being would want to do. And so he decided to become a monk and go to Mount Athos so he could just sit there and listen to St. Paisios. And so he went. And St. Paisios came out and said, "What are you doing? You don't belong here. Get out. This is not a place for you." And he was so disappointed. I didn't watch the whole thing. But obviously he took his advice because he became a priest.
Mm-hmm.
He told him, he said, "You're supposed to be in a world full of crazy people. Not here."
Yeah.
Those are the saints, right? When they say, "Don't copy me."
Right. Right.
Because like we
Or
were saying before,
don't
we got
worship
on.
me either, right? Because that's
Yeah,
what he
and
did. He
yeah,
like St. Paisios became an idol.
yeah. And like we were saying before we got on, what do I know? I know shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a friend. His spiritual father is a monk, and my friend has known him for a long time, and they spend a lot of time together. And my friend kind of drives him around a lot, drives this monk around. And he said, he's like, the more time I spend with him, the more astonished I am at how much he knows and how much he does not say when he's talking to people. He knows way more than they want him to know. But he doesn't say it. He's very gentle, right? He's just like, he answers their questions as simply as possible. And he also said he's very struck by, whenever he's listening to someone, he pulls out the prayer rope and he's just saying the Jesus prayer while they're talking. And then when they stop, he stops and he pauses before he answers. He doesn't just immediately respond to them, even if they've asked him a question. He sits there for a minute, for a beat, for a few seconds, and where he's trying to be thoughtful and patient, and he said, my friend said, it's really changed him. Just being around this so much and seeing how deliberate he is and how careful he is.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that is his silence speaks louder than words to your friend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because after a while, you start to realize, oh God, this guy knows me. He's reading me like a book, man.
Yeah, right.
And he's loving me by not saying anything.
So this was the phrase my friend used, because he said, I have learned from my spiritual father how merciful ignorance is. And he said, I used to feel really, he's like, I came from an evangelical background, so I felt this pressure to always be talking to people about Christ and about the gospel. And he said, and that didn't go away when I became Orthodox. He said, but now I'm a lot more cautious, because he said, God is working with people where they are. And I don't need to disrupt that. It's not up to me.
Right. And we're not a one size fits all.
No. And he said, if they ask me, I talk to them, of course. He's like, but I'm not the one who's sitting there trying to break their spell. Right. Because he's just like, that's not my place.
Yeah. That took me a long time to learn too. Because I put it like this now, Jeremy. I'm no longer prescriptive, but I'm descriptive of my own experience with God.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and that may or may not resonate with anybody. But
Yeah.
that doesn't matter to me because that's actually the only thing that I know. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Is my own experience with God.
Yeah.
As you know, we can read the scriptures and not understand them. So let's not expound on that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And tell people what we think we know.
Right.
Let's talk about what we've learned through our own experience in life, you
Yeah.
know, which is what all these parables are really like, like Jesus doesn't expound on the scriptures about discernment. He doesn't give them laws to follow so that they can acquire wisdom. He tells them an agricultural story about wheat and weeds
Right. That they all know. They
that
all
they
understand.
know from their own experience.
Right. Right.
They know that if they go in the field and try to pull the weeds out, they're going to trample the wheat,
Yeah.
right? And they know that it's better to let them grow up together and harvest them together. So at least they have something rather than nothing.
Right. Right. And
And,
that also speaks to like acting too early, like being anxious
mhm.
and being like, there's a problem. I gotta fix it. Ah,
And we
you
see
know.
we see weeds in the other, like Jesus describes those people. What does he say here? Do I have it still? Yeah. The mighty Christ spoke to him, God's good son, and ordered that the crowd be divided up and separated. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. Oh, no, it was over here. Anyway, he describes them as the good wheat. Oh, in the
Yeah.
wheat and the weeds. That's what it was. He describes the people that do his will with the spirit of generosity. He describes them as the good wheat, right?
Yeah, the pure wheat. Yeah.
And so I can't remember. I can't remember now where we were with that, but we were talking about our own experiences and relating it back to
The parables
things
and
that
how he was
people
teaching using
would
parables.
understand, right?
Yes. Right. But there's many layers of understanding it. That's one thing in those scriptures I have where it has a lot of commentary from the church fathers. You'll
Mhm.
be reading along and you're like, oh, okay, there's a footnote here. Let's go look at it. Or it's an end note, actually. You just flip to the end of the chapter and you read it and you're just like, never in a million years would that have occurred to me. Right. And they're
Yeah,
just like, well, obviously this means this. Like, clearly that's what he's talking about. And you're just like,
right.
clearly I'm retarded. Right. Like,
Well, it's
I
also
never would have gotten there. It's
and
unbelievable.
it's also an ancient mindset, right? Like we just don't have anymore either. Like the
Right.
fathers
Yeah.
are much older and closer to the stories than we are.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
But
Well, they're much better at seeing these patterns too.
well, they know that that's what it's about.
Right.
They're not reading it literally.
Right.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
They're not. Just like why I was saying, okay, I see something going on here,
Right. I
Like
mean,
John's
it's
head
things
is
that happen, but it's also
divided.
revealing patterns.
Right. Like John's head is divided from his body.
Right.
The wheat and the weeds are divided from each other. The people on the, who are being fed, the 5,000, they sat down and divided them up.
Well, and also I think there's some connections going on where it said the king of the Jews is the one who killed John, right? And it was like Herod, who's he's like he's the Antichrist,
Mm,
where he's the imitation, because he's like trying to give gifts to people,
yeah.
and and at the same time, there was another connection I had with it. I don't remember. Anyway, it's seeing these little patterns playing out and the interplay of the patterns, and how the patterns are recognizable, but then there's little details that are changed, or that are different, that your attention is drawn to. It's yeah. And I had more in this pattern of King Herod. Oh yeah. John the Baptist being described as like the greatest human ever born is definitely a type of Christ, right? And his head being separated from his body and then delivered to the people is the same as Christ being separate, being killed and separated from his people, and then later presented on a platter, right? I mean, on the patent, right? It's like some of these connections are really profound.
And then from the devouring mother, the whole thing happened because of the devouring mother.
Right.
That is like
the prostitute, which is another tie back to Solomon, right?
Yeah.
The two prostitutes.
Well, the two prostitutes, but not only that, but she devoured her own child.
Right.
That's the thing that really stood out to me this reading. I'm like, good God. I actually thought, because that's how, terribly I read the scriptures, that it was the mother who did the dancing and asked for the head. The one who wanted it.
Right.
It never made it. It would have never dawned on me that she used her daughter to get what she wanted instead of looking after her own child. So, like, think about like that. That's a contrast to the virgin.
Right. Correct.
Right. And that's what took the head of John the Baptist. That's the horror of Babylon. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the two choices we get in the scriptures. We get the virgin and the whore.
Right. Well, and then we have like in different lives of the saints, you get that pattern where the whore gets transformed into the virgin.
Well, I think that's what happens in Revelation anyway.
Yes.
Like the whore. When the New Jerusalem comes down, this is just me spouting off my own silly thoughts. That is the bride. And I said this once in a live stream with Nate and Jedediah, and I said, and the bride defiles the whore. And Nate's like, oh, I don't know if I like that word, that, and I said, and then Jed goes, no, if you hear that poetically, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she judges her. The virgin judges the whore by her presence.
Right. Exactly. And then I always see this like coming down and the whore just is annihilated by the transformation. She's completely transformed. She's gone.
Right.
What replaces her is the bride. Right. And yeah, anyway, this is really, really interesting imagery to me because in Judaism, the Sabbath rest, the world to come, is ushered in by the divine feminine, by the Shekinah, by the Holy Spirit. And there's that same kind of theme in Revelation, because there's the whore who rides the beast, and there's the woman who gets chased into the wilderness with her child.
Right.
Right. So, and I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here, Jeremy, but there's something very close to that imagery with the young girl dancing in front of all these men and her mother using her to get her own, secure her own place by the king, because she's a whore.
She's insecure. Yeah.
She's a whore.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and her daughter just becomes an instrument.
And the dragon,
and an extension of her.
Right. And the dragon in Revelation tries to devour the child.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, I don't know what it all means. I'm not trying to figure it out, but I just I like juggling all those balls, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The child, the whore, the bride, the virgin, the, you know, adultery, marriage. All these themes are constantly running through these stories. So I think it's worth thinking about.
Well, and it's a wedding ceremony as well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed he was bringing out clear wine, and I don't know what what the significance of that is. Like,
well, I
was
think
it watered down or was it pure?
No, it's any kind of homemade home brew that isn't like filtered, which takes time.
Yeah.
Is cloudy.
Right.
So it's kind of second rate stuff, right? Like we all know that in apple cider, for example. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if something is clear, it's pristine. It's been made very, very good. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually is an inversion again of the wedding of Cana, where the best wine came out at the end, right?
Yeah.
His good stuff was coming out at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, that's interesting. I had never thought of that. The author of the Heliand drew that out for me to see, to be able to see that the King Herod's feast is an inversion of the wedding of Cana. That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, because the virgin is the one, right? The Theotokos is the one who opens up the door to all the good things.
Right. And asks, you know, and she's the one who just says, do whatever he says. Right.
Right.
And in this one, it's like her scheming. The prostitute is like the whore is, she's scheming behind the scenes.
And not only that, but the king is an asshole because he promises something he doesn't even know what's coming.
Right.
And he regrets
and he's drunk. Yes. Yeah, he's drunk when he makes that promise.
Nothing is thought about. It's not thought through. It's just like complete, you know, reverie.
Yeah, he's been taken over by his passions for sure. He's asleep, like in a reference back to Solomon again, right? It's like the children have been switched.
Wow.
There's confusion.
Yeah. That story of those two babies always ripped my heart out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sad for the child who died because his mother was so terrible. Period.
Right. Oblivious. Yeah.
Yeah. Just looking for status or something. Or maybe there was a welfare check if she had a kid. Who knows? You never know.
Well, yeah, but here's the deal. If you're a prostitute, you're in the business of illusions. If you have a baby,
that's true.
That illusion's gone, and you can't make a living anymore.
Yeah, but she wanted it. She stole it.
Yes, true. That's a good point.
That's the weird thing for me. I'm like, why would she want the kid? You'd think most prostitutes would be like, oh, thank God it died.
True. Right? Yeah. You're right. I am misreading it. You're right.
Yeah.
She did steal the living.
She stole the other ones.
She was envious. Yeah. That's true.
I mean, it could just been maternal instinct. Who knows? Pretty strong instinct, that is.
Yes.
You know, a friend of mine.
But not universal.
No, a friend of mine, her husband, they live very out in the bush. And her cat had kittens. And she said to him, you got to kill those kittens. They were like a day old. Because what are we going to do with like 17 cats? You know? Yeah. So he went out and killed all the kittens, and the mother's maternal instinct was like peak, right?
Right.
She went out and she stole 4 squirrels, baby squirrels, from a squirrel's nest, and she nursed them all and cared
Wow.
for them. And then I ended up with one because she called me up. She goes, "Shari, do you want a squirrel? I don't know what to do with these things. They're driving me insane."
Wow.
So I got one. Peanut, his name was. Had him for a short season until he was mature, and then I let him go. Yeah. It was fun.
That's crazy. Well, she didn't raise Romulus and Remus.
No.
Sorry. That was my only connection. Although apparently the origin story of the Turks is a similar story, but it's where like the founders of the Turkish people, the founder was raised by wolves as well.
Mhm.
I have to look that up.
You watch.
The details escape me.
This is a total deviation from our Heliand discussion, but did you ever watch the HBO series Raised by Wolves?
No.
Oh, Jeremy, you have to see that. If you watch that, I'll watch a Tarkovsky film. I'll watch
Okay.
I actually do want to watch Stalker. You've talked about it so much, you really piqued my interest.
Oh, I love it. I think you will.
I will love
you
it.
will. You will fall head. You will just tip over and over and over into that story. It has many layers. It's very beautiful.
But
Okay, so
Raised by Wolves. You can look it up.
I will. Raised by Wolves.
Christopher Nolan, I think, had a hand in it too. And it's about. I'm advertising for it. You might as well just pull it up and put it on screen because I think people should watch it. Especially, I think it unfortunately got canceled just like out of the blue, which really sucked. And
executive produced by Ridley Scott.
Oh, Ridley Scott. I have Christopher Nolan. I got them mixed up.
Okay. Oh, since we're doing plugs though, the series on Amazon, House of David.
Oh.
One of the executive producers is Dr. Nathan Jacobs, who's Orthodox philosopher, and Father Stephen the Young was a consultant on that show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now they both said, look, we didn't have final say. They did their own thing, but we were involved. So
that's great.
Oh, Dave W. Nice. Doctor's
Dave is like film critic par excellence. I have to say.
Nice. Yeah, I love that movie.
Dave has very good taste in film.
Trying to share screen. This one over here. Yes.
Unfortunately,
I won't do the volume. I don't want to get problems.
It's a trailer though, right?
Yeah, it's a trailer.
Okay.
Raised by Wolves. But I'm not going to play volume, and I'm kind of afraid of it. I don't want to have problems. So I'm moving it around and being obnoxious. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So what happens is this woman here is an android. She's an AI with a body, and she gets sent to this planet with these embryos, her and this guy. And she's mother and he's father. And she gestates the embryos outside of her body, but she lays there for however many 9 months. And they're all grown in these little vats. But they're plugged into her.
Wow.
And here's I'll just tell you a little bit. Here's the kicker. She comes from a group of human beings called the Believers. But she was taken by the group called the Atheists, and they're in some kind of like major world war with each other. And she gets reprogrammed by the Atheists. Because the Believers are ideologically possessed, and they've created these androids that are like spiritual beings that can fly around and annihilate people just with this like hypersonic scream. Anyway, you know what? The first, I think there's only 2 seasons, and it ends abruptly, which really sucks, but it's really worth watching because I found it very thought-provoking, and I think it's very relevant to what we're looking at, what we're facing right now with children being raised by artificial intelligence. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It was canceled. Yeah. But it doesn't matter, Dave. It's really worth watching, in my opinion. Sure, you can't just stay in the story like you'd like to, but whatever. There's some really interesting, and I don't want to say anymore because I'd ruin some of the moments.
Some stories end in an early death.
There you go. Abruptly. James Dean comes to mind. Right?
Yeah.
We all wonder what would have become of him. He probably would have ended up looking like Clint Eastwood.
It's funny. Although less cool.
Less cool than Clint?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Clint Eastwood wins over James Dean all day, every day.
Yeah. The question is, would James Dean have become woke or not? That's always the question.
See, I think he's in a similar boat as Sean Penn.
James Dean?
Yeah.
Well, he died in that he got fixed into that mold, but where would he be if he would have lived?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I'll share this real quick. I mentioned it, and so now I'm going to share it. The origin of Turkey, or the Turkish people being similar. So it's Asina. Asina is the name of a she-wolf associated with the Göturks foundation myth. The ancestress of the Göturks is a she-wolf, mentioned yet unnamed in 2 different wolf tales. The legend of Asina tells of a young boy who survived the battle. A female wolf finds the injured child and nurses him back to health. The she-wolf, impregnated by the boy, escapes her enemies by crossing the Western Sea to a cave near the Kocho Mountains and a city of the Tocharians, giving birth to 10 half-wolf, half-human boys. Wow. Of these, Yishi Nishidu becomes their leader and establishes the Ashina clan, which ruled over the Göturk and other Turkic nomadic empires. In certain cultural narratives and mythological accounts, the character of Asina, with its symbolic association to a she-wolf, is denoted by the name Bozkurt, meaning gray wolf in Turkish, embodying a significant archetype with multifaceted connotations. So, yeah, this is the coat of arms of Turkey. Oh, it was a proposed coat of arms. Sorry, didn't actually become it, but yeah, this is my father-in-law talked to me about this a lot. Cool. So, similar origin story as Rome.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stories of half human, half animals, which is interesting.
Father Stephen DeYoung, like in a side note, mentioned the guy who won the first Olympic Games in ancient Greece. Before the games, he went on a mountain. I don't remember. I don't think he mentioned which mountain it was. I don't know. I don't think it was Mount Olympus, but anyway, he went on a mountain close to where the Olympic Games were, and sacrificed an infant and ate it, and was imbued with the qualities of became half wolf, and was able to win the Olympics because he took on he took on being half wolf.
Dave says Got some Princess Mononoke vibes. Do you know
Yep.
it?
Yep.
What's that?
That's a Studio Ghibli animated film.
Oh,
I saw, so last summer they had a Studio Ghibli animation festival in our local theater, and my daughter got really excited. So we went and we just bought tickets to all of them right at the beginning. And so all summer long, every 2 weeks, we went to a different Studio Ghibli film together. It was really fun. It was
yeah.
really cool. Yeah, it was great. And that was one of them we saw.
Hmm.
It was cool. She's a big fan.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't watch very much TV. I don't watch series at all, hardly.
Yeah.
because I find most of them are just propaganda anyway. But this
Right.
one was really thought provoking, and I thought, there's a lot of questions being asked here, honest questions, and I really liked that.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's another one that I watched, and I've talked about it before, called Dark. It's a German series, and it ends appropriately.
Mm.
But of course, the ending isn't satisfactory, but whatever. It's okay. But
I've
it's
noticed in series they rarely
it
they start the series before they know how it's going to end, and then they write themselves into trouble.
well, they
And there
get
aren't
a
enough good writers to write their way out of it. You
yeah, and
know?
I think they get kind of like a memo. Okay, end it, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
I can see all
Yeah.
these guys like laying on the floor smoking cigarettes, going, "How are we going to do this?"
Right.
but anyway, it's a post-apocalyptic world.
I'll share it.
And
I'll just show the trailer with no sound.
oh, cool. Yeah, you got some subtitles. That's cool.
Yeah. Residents are now alarmed after a second child has gone missing. Not a trace, nothing. As if he vanished into thin air. Everything is just like it was 33 years ago. Everything's repeating itself. Run! Netflix original series. The city is sick. This city is sick. And we're all part of it. There's a murderer among us. A murderer among us. The past doesn't just influence the future. The future also influences the past. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. This December. The question is not where. The question is not who. The question is not how. But 1953, but when?
Mm-hmm.
The beginning is the end. And the end is the beginning. Dark.
There you go.
Cool. That sounds like that's a similar theme to like a lot of Christopher Nolan movies play with that.
Yeah.
Time, the loopiness of time.
And the cool thing about it is it's a German production. So it's got, I don't know. I just find it maybe a
Different
little
sensibilities.
Yeah, different perspectives. And
yeah.
Yes, Dave, you got to watch it. Dave, I've been asking you to watch this for so long. and it's a trip. Like it
Yeah.
really is a real trip because you're in and out of. Well, I don't want to talk about it, but it's really good, and yeah. Anyway, I'll just leave it alone. I just watch
Yeah.
it.
Well, I was just thinking of like Dunkirk. Dunkirk really plays with time. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've seen that film. That's a Christopher Nolan film. Oh,
Isn't that
World
that
War
war?
II. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Christopher Nolan wrote that and
I think
directed
I
it.
watched it, Dunkirk. I thought
And
that was Mel Gibson.
no,
Okay.
no.
Yay! Gets to do it.
But yeah, no. I mean, in Inception, not Inception, of course, and then also
hmm
Interstellar plays with the loopiness of time.
Yeah,
Um,
and there was another one with Tom Cruise. What was that one called?
I'm not
But this,
sure.
the way that they deal with time in Dark is totally like maybe it's not new to you guys, but it was very new to me. It didn't have that same, just going back and repeating and it's crazy. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I was also thinking of The Shining.
Oh gosh.
Um, also plays with time, and then also Lighthouse. That's another movie that plays with time. I don't recommend that film.
I didn't
I'm not
watch it.
endorsing it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because I have to be careful about horror films.
Yeah.
Although The Shining was I didn't know who Stanley Kubrick was till much, much later in my life.
I have
Looper,
not
yeah.
seen Looper. I
I've
have
seen
not seen
Looper. That was
that.
that was good. But Stanley Kubrick, like when I watched Clockwork Orange, and I was in a very weird headspace and in a very strange place actually,
And that movie
like
will make it
physically.
worse.
And yeah, and where I was staying, that was the only VHS this person had.
Oh my god.
And I watched it
That says
over.
a lot right there. That was a lot of poetry that you just put in one sentence right there.
Mhm. And I watched it over and over again, Jeremy. I was fixed to this
Wow.
film. I think I was trying to
Clockwork Orange.
process. Yeah, I think I was trying to
Mm,
process a lot of my own trauma
yeah.
when I think about it, but I don't know how. I just because I suffered violence, in
Mhm.
and that's what the film is dealing with. It's just like it's a hard look at violence, right?
Right.
A real hard look at violence. Actually, I couldn't even listen to Beethoven's Ninth for about 15, 20 years.
Mm,
Because
yeah.
every time I did, I'd see these guys going down the road kicking cans and looking for someone to hurt, you know?
Right. Right.
But I couldn't stop watching it. I watched it and watched it and watched it. And then the same thing happened with The Shining. I didn't watch it like consecutively, like for 6 weeks, which I did with Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
But I hate horror films. I don't watch them because I'm like, why do people make these movies? They're awful. But that one, I watched it a couple of times in one year, and then I made it kind of like a pilgrimage. Okay, I'm going to watch The Shining again once a year. And I
Mm,
don't know why either, because obviously it was doing something for me. There's
yeah.
something really there's The Shining is really psychologically it's terrifying, but it's also hopeful. There's something good about it.
Mm,
So, with the
yeah.
with the old black guy and the kid and the mother, um, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I was just, I
Yeah.
haven't
No,
watched
there's a
it.
lot. There's a lot in that. There's a lot in that film. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm the same. I don't like horror movies, but I've always liked The Shining.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of plumbing the depths of your shadow is what The Shining feels like. It's like going down and seeing the dark
Well,
shapes.
Dave says here the dominant theory is that it helps you face trauma in some kind of safe environment.
Mm,
Like I didn't realize it at the time, and I didn't realize it till just recently. But I think that's what I was doing, because the obsession was like, I wasn't obsessed with the violence. It made me like nauseous to watch
Yeah.
this.
Right.
But I couldn't stop looking at it, because yeah, I think that's what I was doing, but I don't know for sure.
I was obsessed with the entire genre for a very long time, but more with the nihilistic horror of the 70s. I will go on record and say Night of the Living Dead is the best horror movie of all time. Speaking of that genre. Is
that nihilistic horror? I don't know.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had a woofer.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you go.
No, I don't want to. I can't ruin it. It's just, it's a movie you have to experience. That's it.
Yeah.
But it definitely fits that genre.
Interesting. Yeah. So. Well, I had a woofer here from France with her, what ended up being her husband, but they had been together for many years. And she was addicted to horror films.
Mm.
And she actually told me, she said she's totally addicted to the adrenaline rushes.
Yeah. We have a family friend who's like that. My aunt was like that too. She just loved horror movies and she watched them with her kids and they just eat popcorn and I couldn't stand it. I was terrified. I would stay at my aunt's house and they would put on a movie and I would just be like, bye. I'd just go in the other room or go sleep outside, like we'd go sleep in the backyard or something. Cause I
definitely had a few of
I did
horror
not
movies
get it.
in the form of dreams, that played over and over again in my head.
Yeah.
So I didn't need any outside influences.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't need anybody to give me any suggestions for new images, Yeah. I was trying to deal with the ones I had going on.
One time in college, my girlfriend was curious. She wanted it, so we rented Amityville Horror. So we watched Amityville Horror, and it was like I was terrified. I don't know what it is, but I'm very suggestible when it comes to horror films. Yeah. I do not like it. So I was really like, the movie was over, and I don't even know if we finished it. And we may have stopped it, but anyway, I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So I was in dorms, so it was a communal bathroom. So I went down the hallway, and then I came back, and my girlfriend was gone.
No.
And I was like, oh no. So I started like carefully looking around my room, like lifting the sheet and everything.
Oh God.
And she jumped out of the closet from behind me and jumped on my back and screamed in my ear. And that's the closest I've ever come to dying and killing someone at the same time.
I was just thinking, she's lucky you didn't hurt her.
Yeah, because she grew up with brothers, and she was like the youngest. She had like 2 or 3 older brothers, and so she was used to goofing around. So
well, hey, my sister, who you met,
but I didn't hurt her. I want to be clear, I didn't.
No,
I realized it was like my first instinct was to, but then I realized what happened, and I came to my senses. But I was terrified.
Luckily.
Like, it's scared. Like,
for her,
that was the worst. Yeah, it was very scary.
So
anyway,
my sister Tracy, who you met,
yeah,
she was the trickster in the family. Okay, always. And it would be bedtime. She'd always go, okay, good night. And she'd run upstairs first. And I had my own room. She had her own room, and my brothers had a room that they shared together. And she would often plant herself in someone's room. and she could wait.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she could wait. So, and we were always afraid, like all of us. We hated going in the dark. We hated under the bed. We all had a lot of fear. And one of the things that she did to my brother, who was only like 10 years old at the time, she crawled under his bed and she just waited. She waited until he was sure that everything was okay. And then she reached up between the bed and the wall and grabbed his arm.
Oh man.
And
Oh,
she said he just flipped like this, you know.
oh yeah. Yeah.
And then one time she planted herself in my closet. And my closet, it was a Victorian house, and it had a wooden door, like a solid wooden door with a crystal doorknob on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in my room, and I was, you know, getting ready for bed and everything. And then my closet door went like that. And I was like, you know.
Yeah.
And so I closed it. And it stayed closed. And I'm like, oh, it was probably just open a crack, and it just eked open, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So I keep doing my thing, and then, you know, and it's her, in the closet.
Right.
And she does this like 30 minutes after you go to bed.
Oh man.
Like she was just wicked.
Super patient.
My brother thought, he always says she was evil, like she was just pure evil. And she had many things like that she did. It was, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. And nobody could ever trick her. She'd walk in her bedroom and go, I can see you, Matthew. You know what I mean? Like she was just
right, because she knew all the moves.
Yeah.
That's funny.
She was all over it.
That's funny.
What a girl. Well, it's too bad nobody joined us.
I know. That's
Come on,
right.
people.
We had a good talk. It's fun.
Yeah, we did. We ended up on horror films from the Heliand.
Yeah, which is like, you know, here's the other weird thing about where I live. Utah, for whatever reason, is like the haunted house capital of America. It's crazy. We have so many haunted houses here. I have my theories, but man, it's just like a cultural, what's the word? It's like a frenzy. That's the word. It's a frenzy that just kicks in all the month of October, and people just some people go to haunted houses every night.
Yeah.
For a month, you know, and it's just not my thing.
Well, what are most Mormons? Are they like, where do they descend from? Like the UK or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's very much like the Irish, and you know, there's a lot of spooky, ghosty stuff.
Yeah, I get that, but this is like an unhealthy obsession kind of idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where, and it's I think it's also, I had a theory when I was younger, and I've changed, and I won't go too far into it, but when I was younger, I used to think that because talking about evil was so suppressed in the culture, that this was like a socially acceptable way to kind of process it.
Right.
But my more recent view is that those portals are already here, and that during October they're just more people justify participating in
making it explicit.
Yeah.
So. Like, you know, my grandfather, who served in the First World War, so he died when I was like, I think I was 10 or something, or 8, and he was already 87 or something. He was born in 1896 or something like that. And he was French Canadian and Roma, and he used to always say, whenever we'd go outside at night, he'd say, watch out for the orangutan and the loup-garou. And the loup-garou was the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I thought back to that, and it was, it's like the gargoyles on the churches.
Right.
It's the monsters at the edges.
Right.
That whole idea, right? Like, it's really interesting.
They protect the border, but they're also monstrous, right?
Yeah, and they're unknown. Like, and they're
right.
and they're in the dark because they're in the dark because they're unknown.
And they're hybrids. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. And too much hair.
Mhm.
And teeth. Too many teeth.
Oh, my daughter sent me. She went to. I don't know if I can show it or not. Oh, she went. Where was that? Freiburg in Germany recently, and she took pictures of of this of some gargoyles on the front of or all around this church that she was visiting. Oh, here it is. I wonder, can I share it, screen share it from my messages? Should I try?
Yeah.
I want to. I just want to experiment.
Okay.
Let me just see.
Well, and Jonathan Pajot made the interesting point where the gargoyles also gather the waters from above, and then they send it out. You know, like the water's coming down onto the roof of the building, and then it's being sent out away from the building, so
Right.
that it doesn't flood the building. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's really appropriate for this. I got to show you this now. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm buckled in.
Okay, where to go?
Dave, I had the same experience with Alien. I saw the movie Alien when I was 10. Same for me. Totally against the rules. Yeah, I was staying over at a friend's house. My parents they went out for the night, and so we were staying the night at family friends, and they were watching it. Couldn't sleep for a week because I would see that thing lurking in the corner when I turned out the lights. Yes. I had the same issue when I was learning about Dungeons and Dragons at about that age. Like the guy who was teaching me about it gave me the monster manual, and I was like flipping through it. It scared me to death. I couldn't walk past a mirror for months because there were all the Bloody Mary stories about the mirror when I was a kid, and man, that did a number on my head. So I melded that with Dungeons and Dragons monsters, and I was a wreck. I was a very anxious kid.
All right, Jeremy, I got it.
Okay. Ah. That's like the marginalia. That's like medieval marginalia. That's
yeah, it totally is medieval. This is in Freiburg, Germany, and you were talking about the water running off the building. That's what this is.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's funny.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. But
yeah.
It fits.
Yeah. I got one more thing that now that I know how to do this, I really want to share because it's so pretty. It's so beautiful.
Okay.
Let me just find it. Mm-hmm. Come on. Here we go. Hang on. Let's do this. Oops. Sorry, guys.
We're not fancy producers around here. We do our best.
No, we're just playing around. We're having fun. Okay, I'm going to try this now. Let's see if I can find it. Share. Oh, wait. Stop sharing there. Whoops.
Whoa.
Share screen.
Yeah.
Share screen. Entire screen. And let's just go like this. It's just you and me here now. And then we'll see if we can go down. So I can watch this.
Yep.
This is
make
my.
It bigger?
I don't know. I'm. Oh, look at
there
that.
You go.
Okay.
Hide that.
Oh, come on.
It'll come back. You can do it. Yeah.
Okay. Ready? This is from my couch in my living room.
Oh wow. Hey, look at that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. I like
Yeah.
the mom's just like, no,
She's
I don't have any
counting.
food.
She's actually counting. I think she, yeah, you'll see her feeding here.
Oh, yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? I just wanted to share that.
That's really cool.
Oh, how do I get out of here now, Jeremy?
Uh,
Oh, here. There we go. And remove.
there you go. Nice. Well
Yeah.
done. Well played. You did it. You're level 2 StreamYard producer.
Mhm.
You graduated.
I did. Well, that was a good one.
Yes.
I think we're starting to see the patterns in the Heliand.
Yeah. I will
It's like,
I'll bring the commentary from St. John Chrysostom where he talks about the 5,000 and then the 4,000.
cool.
It's well, I mean, because Christ does his own commentary on it, where he's just like, how can you not see what, you know? And the disciples
wait
are all
for
just like, sorry,
Yeah,
we
no,
can't
I can't
see.
wait.
But then St. John Chrysostom takes it even further, and it's really helpful. It's really great.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Like I said, so much of the time when I read the Church Fathers commentary, it just over and over. It's like, dude, you would never get there. I would never anyway. I'm not. I
Well,
mean, I can't speak for other people, but I would never get there. You know?
that's how I felt when I started reading Origin for the very first time.
Mm.
Because that's he read scriptures allegorically, and
Right.
so. Good night, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for being here with us.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure, and I look forward to it every week. Even though today was an unusual day, we had to make some changes to accommodate Sherry's schedule. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, because I had company, and yeah,
Yeah,
I totally forgot. I never have company, so
yeah, no problem. But I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just saying reading Origin and learning that you could read the scriptures allegorically was just like it changed everything for me.
Yeah.
I had no clue before that. And now as I grow in that, so much of the scriptures are opening up to me in ways that are just absolutely beautiful. You know, that's the word I would use. Beautiful.
Yeah. Have you read The Life of Moses by St. Gregory of Nyssa?
I've read bits of it, but I haven't read the whole thing yet.
It's similar where he's laying out the allegorical meanings and the connections to Christ, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just it's very moving.
I also read a little bit of is it Gregory of Nyssa, Soul and Resurrection? His dialogue with his sister Macrina.
I've not read it.
Incredible. She was amazing.
Yeah.
We have her to thank for Basil and St. Basil and St. Gregory, you know.
Amen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holy Mother with holy sons.
Well, she was their sister.
Oh, sister. Right. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their parents were also saints.
Yes.
So that's why I was confused.
Yeah, she was a close runner-up for my patron saint, actually, Saint Macrina.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm going to have to go. I've got, unfortunately, maybe those watching, and maybe Jeremy could pray for my horse. I have a foundered horse.
Oh.
And I've never had a foundered horse before, so I didn't clue into it for a couple of days. And it's because we've had a lot of hot weather and lots of rain, which is very unusual for us. We're like Utah. We're dry and arid. So it's really green and lush, and that's why he foundered. So I have had to take him off of grass altogether, let the other horses out without him, which he's never experienced in his life.
Oh, yeah.
And give him medication. And here's always the thing that comes up for me when these things happen, because then the vet said to me, and this will be for the rest of his life. Okay. And I'm like,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not into dragging something through life so that it can live, because that's not living.
Right.
What kind of a quality of life does this guy have if he can't be with his herd and can't graze? I have to put a muzzle on him. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you gotta ask questions like, when the vet says to you, don't let your horse eat grass. You're like, pardon?
Yeah, that's like at the heart of the telos of a horse, right?
He's going to go insane, for
Yeah.
one thing. Like, he literally will go insane.
Wow.
And this gets back to my little rant, safetyism. And what was the other thing? The mantras, keeping you safe.
Right.
Am I keeping Loki safe by locking him up and sticking a muzzle on him and letting his friends go out of sight and medicating him? Is that keeping him safe? Because in my opinion, that's not keeping him safe. That's keeping him prisoner.
Right.
In a, psychological prison. So anyway, we're doing our best. We're going to get through the worst of it and then make some assessments and make some decisions, but it's not fun.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Maybe explain for the audience what it means to have a foundered horse.
So it's an edema in the feet of the horse, but the problem with horses is that they have a hoof. It's a hard casing. And so the foot swells in there and then pressure builds up inside the hoof, and it doesn't split the hoof. It breaks their bones. They have bones that go down into the hoof area, which constitute their foot. So it's very painful for them to walk on. And it can be like unrepairable damage after that. Most horses that founder will founder again. And the thing, like, I've got 2 other horses that are not foundering. And so it's not just the grass, it's probably also a metabolic issue with this horse. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
usually it's like diabetes, basically, isn't it?
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, something similar. Yeah.
It's called foundering, but its technical term is laminitis. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right now we're doing our best to keep him comfortable and make sure that he doesn't suffer any more pain, and then we'll take it from there. And I, just lost my kitty.
Oh, that's no good.
So these things come in 3, and I just nursed a lamb through urinary calculi, which is a killer.
Oh my. Ugh.
But he survived.
Well, that's good.
But that's, if he ever here's the thing, grain kills animals. It does.
Yeah.
And as a carnivore, I will say, and humans, people. So
I don't know. The Romans did all right.
They love it. Yeah, well, I won't get into the discussion.
I know that was 2,000 years ago. The wheat 2,000 years ago is a lot different than it is now.
Yeah, but there's also evidence that people, as soon as they became agricultural, they started to suffer with chronic disease like arthritis.
Right.
Their teeth were way better when they were carnivore only.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway, but I'll let you guys believe whatever it is you like to believe.
Ignorance is mercy.
There you go.
Shari.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone,
it's been
for
a good
watching.
week. Yeah.
And
thanks for hanging out with us.
I guess we'll see you at the regular time next week, right, Jeremy?
Yep. Tuesday? Back to Tuesday. Yep. That was my plan. So
yeah.
Cool. We'll be back on the regular schedule next week. God bless all of you. Have a good night.
Good night, all.